Sableye too. Sableye's fine as well. All right, this is the true test. I need them to not shield. It's my only win con say no shield this. And it's still a really slim win con. Shielding, and then we... Okay. Oh, we have a chance. We actually have a chance. Fight the shadow damage. Oh, they no shield. What? Okay. Oh my gosh. Who does this? Who runs Sableye with Obstagoon? I don't understand. Hey everyone, so if you've been a longtime subscriber, then you probably know that Shadow Banette was one of my favorite and early GBL lines in both the preseason and season 1 of GBL. And so I decided to bring it back with the Bastiodon on the lead. Last time around I had a Meganium there. I also had a Registeel and a Jirachi with it before, but this time around I'm going to run with Bastiodon, Shadow Banette, and Cofagrigus in the back. With the buff to Registeel, most are not running Flash Cannon anymore, which is actually even better for Shadow Banette because it takes them even longer to get to a move they need to hurt Banette with, whereas before it was a little bit tougher with the Flash Cannon Regis around. Obviously, this team is super weak to Obstagoon, and we're going to showcase kind of how you play around that matchup or if it's even winnable. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, as well as my various guides on how to use these teams and additional behind the scenes footage, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. In this lead, we do have a Poliwrath, really bad. But something that I noticed with this team is that anytime you're against a not so favorable lead, it's actually much better. Because you get a slight entry advantage on Shadow Banette against whatever their counter swap might be. But this person's actually staying in, so that's fine. I'm going to tank this Ice Punch and hopefully get to another Shadow Ball and able to make it just in time. If you look at my rankings in these battles, they're actually from when the season first started. Unfortunately, I had a little bit later start to the season, so by the time I would have made that video, it would have been a little too late for Great Leagues. So decided to save the footage for this new rotation round. All right, this is quite bad for me as well. So they have 2 very hard checks to Bastiodon. I'm just hoping they don't have a 3rd hard check, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. Yeah, so I'm going to no shield this. They're probably going to go Flash Cannon. Oh yeah, right. Sorry, we saw the trap earlier, so that makes sense. I'm going to save my shield for that Registeel here. Unfortunately, it looks like we're about to CMP here. But yeah, that's okay. So I'm going to take this out as soon as possible, and oh yeah, right, because they don't have a shield here, so it's fine. I'm going to go straight for the Flamethrower, and yeah, that's going to be GG. So really tough lead with 2 hard checks to Bastiodon, but it's okay. Scrafty. You might think that Scrafty is really good against this line too. It's not nearly as scary as Obstagoon is, and that's mainly because they have to go foul play to really take out your Ghost in the back, whereas Obstagoon can just straight go Night Slash. And it's much harder to hurt an Obstagoon with your Shadow damage, with the Shadow Banette and Kofa, because Ghost is triple resisted on Obstagoon, whereas it's only single resisted on the Scrafty. All right, so this is really solid for me. They no shield the potential Psychic there, which works out. And then now, again, they do have the foul plays. Unfortunately, I no shield the first one, thinking that might have been a bait, but knowing that I can still tank it, it's okay. I am going to go for a Psychic here for a potential debuff. Unfortunately, we don't get it, but it seems like a very likely shield that they're going to throw. Yeah, this is going to be a close one because these Power Punches are definitely going to add up. Do we make it? And we just have to shield this. I believe we do because that Smackdown did go through. And yeah, able to finish off the Scrafty despite really tough matchup there. All right, another really tough lead. Again, this team actually operates a lot better when you don't win the lead, in my opinion. For those that say that they don't win in GBL because they lose a lead, honestly, it's not. There's a lot more to the game than just winning because if you win lead or not. That's my hot take, at least. Feel free to disagree with me on that. All right, so we are going to farm this Greedent as far down as possible. These Flamethrowers are definitely going to hurt the Shadow Machamp, so I'm able to grab a shield here. Some weird desync or lag there, but it's all good. We do go to the Kofa here, and then they don't swap out, so I'm going to shield this potential Rock Slide. My guess is if they had agreed it in the back, that was probably their ghost check. Let's see what they do. And they do shield here. And it ends up being a Hypno, so that's huge. We are able to kind of take this out with one Shadow Ball, which is awesome. And then they're going to concede the match right there. Okay. Check this out of here. This is not so bad for the Bastiodon. Even if they have bubble here, just because of the pure bulk, and then also being able to clear those bubble beam debuffs is nice. Anytime you go against a ghost lead, what I like to do is if they don't swap out, I eventually swap to my Banette when they're in Shadow Call range, so you can easily kind of take it out. This opponent does go straight for the foul play. Maybe I should shield it. I don't know. I thought there might have been baits, but that's okay. I'm going to shield this move just so I could potentially get a shield from them again here. And we do get a second shield. This is absolutely huge because now I should be able to Shadow Call this down with Banette and just one-shot a lot of things. They actually go Power Punch there. So I'm going to quickly go to Banette right now just because I just want the energy lead. I don't want to get countered down there. I do shield the Shadow Ball, which is huge. And then what they have in the back, it's a Skarmory. That's going to hurt a lot. It's going to definitely one-shot, actually. And we are almost one-shot. Wow, that Skarmory is bulky. But we still take it out there. All right. So against Vigoroth leads, this is actually quite nice. What you really want to do is maintain switch advantage here. There's a chance that they have something like a Swampert in the back. Banette is much better as a safe swap in my opinion. Because in the back end, it just can't tank a lot. So it has to shield a lot of bait moves as well. But in this situation, Cofagrigus should be able to win this pretty easily. But they actually shield this Vigoroth. So I'm going to no-shield this potential Body Slam, and I'm going to throw another Psychic. I either win switch here or they double shield, which is either huge, and they do double shield. So I'm going to come in with my Banette here, shield one potential move. Might just be a Body Slam, but that's fine. Just don't want to get hit by a potential Bulldoze, and I'm going to let this one go. And loaded Shadow Banettes with no shields on the opposing opponent's end. Let's see what they got here. So this is going to take it out, and they got the Scrafty in the back. Again, Scrafties are not too bad for this team. You know, looking at all the different comps that, you know, potentially could beat this stuff, but it's just, yeah, it's got a lot of play, even when you're going against very hard counters. I'm just going to soak the damage on that Kofa and then finish off the Scrafty. All right, Drapion. Shadow Drapion, actually, too. So this is going to be pretty strong against the team, but again, against the Vigoroth, I decided to shield this time around because I really want to make sure I win switch here because this backline is a little bit tougher for my Banette to deal with if I don't win switch here. They go for another Bulldoze, that's fine. I'm going to overcharge a little bit here. These Shadow Balls still really add up against Drapion, against a lot of the Poison Darks, so it's actually kind of still nice. But they actually come in Sableye here. So this is good, because that Shadow Ball actually does even more damage to Sableye. But I'm just going to swap straight to my Bastion. Main reason behind this is because I don't want them to farm energy here, and Bastion is the only thing I can really reliably take out both the Drapion and the Sableye. So I might as well just swap to it now, rather than giving them energy. I don't really need switch advantage here. And they actually come in with their Drapion, which is huge, because that has a much better matchup against Banette than Sableye does, in my opinion, especially Shadow. So I'm going to get a slight energy lead, and they concede the match right there. All right, that's a really tough lead. And then we come in with a really tough counter swap. Umbreon is one of the few Pokemon that you just cannot flip the switch advantage on. So I'm not even going to bother shielding at that point. Sometimes you can if you can land a move, but Umbreon, there's just no way you get to another Thunder before they get to another foul play, and they just keep outpacing from then on there. So we just have to hope that whatever is in their backline is kind of weak to Kofa. But let's see, we're going to smack this all the way down. We're going to take a lot of foul plays in return, but that's fine. We just don't really want to throw our energy here. The good news about Nidoqueen is that it still needs to throw Earth Power to take you out. You can't just throw Poison Fangs, but they actually come in with a Sableye here. Or sorry, not Sableye, Scrafty. So not great, because the Scrafty is actually quite good against the Kofa here too. So this is looking quite dicey. But let's see. They no shield the Psychic. That's pretty big, but throwing everything on this Scrafty is pretty nice because they do have the type advantage here as well, and they have very easy bait potential. So yeah, it's not a great spot for me to be in. They do go for foul play here, which is great because they know that they could probably get to that next foul play before I get to the next Shadow Ball. So what I need to do is make an incredible catch, and we catch it. In the foul play, even undercharge, I think will do quite a bit of damage, and then we just get to the Shadow Ball in time. So definitely had to finesse a little bit on that one, but still able to make it work. Yeah, despite very tough lead, very tough counter swap, and actually a losing backline too. Yeah, so... All right, come in Wigglytuff here and able to finish me off. So that's another one where you just can't really win switch no matter what because of those resisted Shadow Claws, even if you land a move there. And those charms just really add up. So I want to kind of preserve this Bastiodon a little bit because they probably are weak to it in the back. They no shield here, and so I come in and as I predicted, it is a low Ninetales. So Registeel double charm. Interesting. So yeah. Yeah, I got some weird lag there. We just need to farm this all the way down. The good news is we already landed one flamethrower and they only have one shield left. So I just need to land one more. And so first I'm gonna grab the shield. I have a shield for their Focus Blast. They actually no shield there, but yeah, it doesn't really matter either way because I would got to another one anyway if they shielded, and I think they realized that it was going to be too late by then. All right, Cofagrigus lead. And so this, again, kind of like what I mentioned before, whenever you run into ghost leads, if they don't swap out, you typically just eventually swap over just to kind of start whittling down, just in case they have something in the back that's really good for your Kofa. And it is a Drapion. I actually don't even go to the Thunder here because I figure they're going to outpace me. So I'm just going to let this Crunch go. And then now I really just need to land this Stone Edge here. They do go for a Crunch. I do get debuffed. But let's see what happens here. So they actually shield this. It's not looking good for me by any means. They still have a Kofa and a whole third Pokemon. Ends up being a Surfetch though, so this is actually really nice. What I'm going to do here is probably just overfarm a little bit so I can get close to 2 moves before they get to their next move. These Poison Stings aren't really doing anything to the Kofa, so that's actually really nice. And so I do have some play here, especially with the shield advantage. And again, like I said, those Shadow Balls from Kofa actually do a lot of damage and able to come out with a win against that really tough matchup as well. All right, so we are going against a Shadow Swampert here. And the Shadow Swampert, again, is really strong against my lead. And they come in with the Umbreon counter swap. Like I said, we've seen really tough leads before. We've seen really tough counter swaps before. It doesn't mean the game's over, but it does make the game interesting and a little bit harder. Probably why it's making this video. There are a lot of battles, just for context, for any of my GBL videos, where they're just very hard blowout wins in my favor, and that just doesn't make for the most interesting content. So these teams in many ways actually often work even better than sometimes my videos entail, but at the same time, there's some that are complete blowout losses that aren't interesting as well. So sometimes I do exclude some of those unless they're relevant matchups, and we will see some of those in the back end. All right, so I could easily tank one of these Hydro Cannons, although I do have to watch out for one more after this, and they come in with a Hypno. So Hypno is going to take quite a bit of damage. We simultaneously KO each other, and then the Bastiodon able to still take out the Swampert. Something I found out earlier today is actually, even though Smackdown is resisted on Swamperts, and Swampert's Mud Shots are double super effective against Bastiodon, one Smackdown actually still does more percentage to a Swampert's health than a Mud Shot does to the total percentage of a Bastiodon's health. So even though those Smackdowns don't do much, they actually still do more than the Mud Shots, which is just kind of nuts. But anyway, so my opponent here does counter swap their Trev here. I do have a shield advantage. This is looking pretty tough, not gonna lie, because they have 2 ghosts in the back. They no shield this Sableye here, and don't throw their energy. I don't know, maybe just do short a little bit. I don't know what that was about. I still have 2 shields here, so I'm in an okay spot. And I'm going to throw this next Shadow Ball, and I believe I might just swap to my Bastiodon here. No, I just let this go. Yeah, that's fine. They had to go Earthquake here to take out my Bastiodon, so having the shield advantage and all this energy already, I'm in a good spot. So even if they did throw that foul play, it wouldn't have really mattered because I still had the shield remaining here. But it was a little odd, now that I think about it. All right, Medicham. Super tough lead. Again, for this team, a lot of really tough leads. It's kind of how it is with Bastiodon. It's quite polarizing, but with proper play, you can still make things happen. So another one of those mons, Lickitung, where you just can't really win switch. And they throw a Body Slam, which is kind of clever of them because they could save up some energy here. They know they can still lick me down afterward. It's a good call by them. So I'm going to farm this all the way down. Medicham is super tanky, so these flamethrowers aren't really going to do much. But I just need to chip it down as much as possible and hope that whatever they have in the back end, Kofa has some play against. So I go over to Kofa here, and then they stay in. So my guess is they're probably weak to this if they're staying in to throw a Psychic. And that's exactly what they do. And it is a Shadow Nidoqueen. So Kofa does have some play, especially with all this energy lead. And yeah, I'm going to throw another Psychic here. I'm going to no shield. It could be a bait, and it is a bait, which is perfect. And let's see if they shield this or not. They do shield. All right. And I come in with my Bastiodon here. And I tank a Poison Fang. Where our timers are slightly misaligned. But I know their Medicham is quite low, so able to take it out with this Flamethrower when they come back in. And then now I still have the Kofa alive. And if this is a Poison Fang, I live it either way. And they are going to concede the match right there. All right, Escavalier. This is actually quite tough. You don't see this super commonly, but it is definitely a tougher lead here. And they come in again with a really hard counter swap. Yeah, this is no easy matches here today. But I'm going to shield this because these Thunders are super effective, at least, against Mana Buzz. It still could do some damage. And here's my thought process. Even if they double shield and match my shields, I don't win this. But what I need to do is have a Flamethrower ready on my Bastiodon so I could take out their Escavalier with my Bastiodon with a Flamethrower loaded. So they actually swap out there, but that's fine because now I get rid of the Swampert, which is also quite bad for the Bastiodon. Had some weak connection here, which is unfortunate because, yeah, missed out on some moves there, but that's okay. Fortunately, I don't have to tank a Hydro Cannon, so despite the lag, not a great spot to be in, but we still get to this Flamethrower. I believe they're still locked in at that point in time too. And now we're in a very good spot. Bastiodon should be able to handle this Mana Buzz. So always keep in mind of Escavalier's double weakness of fire. Was able to play a pivotal role there in that matchup. All right. Fantastic lead, finally, for once. And they come in with a Credilli here. So here's the thing. You have a lot of play against Talon, even with the two Ghosts. So you could actually just stay in here and weaken this quite a bit first to ensure you maintain switch advantage. So that's exactly what I'm doing right here. And I'm going to take the first move. It's probably going to be a Stone Edge. That's fine. I'm going to shield this move and then probably just farm all the way down. Yeah, and they actually come in with their Talonflame here. So either way, this is actually really good because they're going to be locked into their Talonflame here, even if they take out my Kofa. I go for the Psychic here just to drop their defense as possible, but they actually no shield. And then they come in with Vigoroth. So this is interesting for sure. Vigoroth is actually quite good against the Bastiodon as well. And I actually come in Bastiodon here. I don't really love this play myself. But maybe I should try and draw the energy. Yeah, this actually looks pretty tough for me, to be honest, at the moment. These Bulldozers are going to take a while to get to, though. So I'm going to shield here. But they actually bait me with a Body Slam. But they unfortunately don't catch. And that's huge. Because now we can bait with a Shadow Ball and they shield. And I try to catch with a Kofa. It does not work out, but I think they got nervous I was going to get to a move. And I do get to the Thunder right here. I think if they just farmed down my Kofa, they would have won that. But they probably weren't sure of my energy count at that time. So able to sneak out with a win there. All right, this is another one, those matchups where you kind of just want to stay in for a little bit and see kind of how it plays out. I've definitely double shielded Earthquakes here and stayed in the whole time and just end up paying for it. So what I'm going to do is force their first shields and then go to my Kofa here, right? Get a slight energy lead here. If they throw their moves, they can. Kofa can still tank quite a bit. I still want that shield remaining for my Banette. I could tank a Frenzy, so no problem there. Able to finish off the Venusaur, so still maintaining switch advantage, and they actually have a Jellicent here, so that's actually huge. And they do shield. I do come in Bastiodon just to absorb the damage. I just don't want to have to tank or potentially shield a Bubble Beam on my Banette. And now they come in with the Earthquake. That's perfect. Now I have a shield advantage and a slight energy lead on Banette. This is probably a Bubble Beam, but it doesn't matter. We get to the Shadow Ball before they get to their Shadow Ball, and now able to take it out. Yeah. All right. So also another not so great lead, but that should just be the name of this video. Shadow Banette against bad leads. So Shift Tree right here. This is gonna be an interesting one. This one does get to move pretty quickly. They don't even need to go foul play to take me out here. This Shift Tree's damage is actually going to add up quite fast against my Bastiodon. So that's a little uncomfortable for sure. But yeah, we're just going to see how this plays out. I just don't really want too much health left on this thing, but the Shift Tree is very, very strong against my Cofagrigus here too. I'm throwing Stone Edge just because I anticipate in case they counter swap there. I know the Stone Edge KOs, so I'm throwing it in case they try to sack swap and catch the Stone Edge on something else. I don't know if it's the best play or not, but it was just something I was thinking about in case they brought in DD. You at least still get stab damage there. But they come in with the G-Fist here. So, pretty solid. I do call potential Earthquake, and it is, so that's huge. We just probably need to just farm this all the way down at this point. Can my Kofa make it? And it does. Luckily, I did save a Yamask that was pretty highly ranked from when they were spawning, and ended up paying off because, yeah, that's still here. All right, Obstagoon. This is the one that everyone is probably waiting for, asking, how do you beat an Obstagoon? So first and foremost, you want to hope they throw a cross chop there. Unfortunately, they threw a Night Slash. Or you want to hope they throw a Night Slash and you no-shield a Night Slash. But it kind of just varies on the player, to be honest. At this point, I can't do too much. That was a weird undercharge they did. And then they have a Sableye in the back. So I thought I had a slight chance, but against Obstagoon lead with a Sableye in the back, that's pretty much a GG's. I think it was just the Obstagoon in the lead. I probably could have stood a chance. But against all the Obstagoons I face, and especially in the lead, I haven't been able to beat any. And this one gets a boost too. It's a really weird team comp. I mean, if they run into one Charmer, I don't really know what their play is, because Obstagoon can't really force shields out of Charmers. But anyway, so that's kind of how a lot of them go. A few of my patrons actually did mention being able to beat Obstagoons, especially in the back, if they had shields down and they're able to land a Thunder on it with a Banette or something like that. I unfortunately have not been able to pull that off yet, but I'm very content with this team, given that even all the Obstagoon leads tend to be auto loss. I think overall the payoff still is much better, and as you see all the different fighter leads we saw today, Obstagoon lead is still kind of hard to run at times. All right, so this is kind of why I like to swap out eventually in these matchups against the Bastiodon leads, because you want to draw out the thing that might take out your Kofa. Because if you stay in too long there, it could be kind of bad. So I do no shield the foul play, hoping that they also feel the willingness to no shield my Bastiodon. If I shield the Bastiodon there, they're probably more inclined to shield their Sableye, right? So they actually catch a Shadow Ball on their Bastiodon. I just don't mind that at all, because it still had a good chunk of health left, and I'm just going to no shield. Even if it's a Psychic, I'll be okay. Ends up being an Ice Punch. I could just double shield after that. I just didn't want to get baited by Power Punches there. They're just going to keep throwing Ice Punches, but this is going to be over. So this is a Bastiodon Sableye Medicham team that Zionic popularized. Yeah, it's quite strong against my team, actually, because you have the Sableye that could beat both my ghosts, but if you get it out of the way, you'll be all set. If you do not have a Shadow Banette, because I know they're a little bit rarer and a lot of people might not have it, you could try running a regular Banette if you like. That probably works as well. Or you could run a Sableye. Sableye is much safer, but I figured Shadow Banette is some fun spice. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. For those Shadow Banette lovers who've been supporters of me for the past few years, Shadow Banette is back. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.